So let's go over this game. Yeah. Yeah. This misclick though. It's like, ooh, look, I have Tenpai with like Dora, Ipeiko, Tenhou. The weight looks kind of bad, and we're late in the game, so I guess I'll just like, you know, stay Dama. The 7 is a little bit dangerous with the 8-pin discard, but it's probably worth it since I have Tenpai. Click. Whoop, that's not the tile limit to discard. No. Yeah. That was fun. And then the, where was it? Dora came out right here. Oh, comes out. Right click. Much pain. Alright, so let's go over my notes for that game, find the areas I was uncertain about, and see what I could have done better. First off, 5th turn, 6th turn, 16th turn, and 17th turn of East 2. And this time the review is without any delay, so if you have any questions or anything, just feel free to let me know. Also, thanks for the follow, Experimilk and Omeganitros. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but thank you for the follow. Alright, so what do we got? Starting off 5th turn. So should I have been so inclined for Sanshoku here? I don't think so. I have a lot of bad shapes here. So keeping this 3 around I think is not a good idea. Because I probably won't end up with that with my final weight. I have too many bad shapes for that. And I can draw pairs here or here. So I think 3-pin right here is pretty good. And I went 6. I'm just zooming in on the Sanshoku. That's what happens when you play Akanashi all day and you're like, oh yeah, you just go for Yaku, right? So yeah, I definitely think that should have been a 6-pin. Because the Dora is also the 9-pin right here, so I could, like, you know, get a pair of the Dora, switch that over, Riichi Dora. Blocking in on Sanshoku right here, I think, is a really bad idea. Or at least with this pair situation, so I don't really need this 3. Next up, 6th turn. 6th turn? Throw the Hatsu, right? Here we go. This one. 7th turn. So, right here I can either throw out the 8-9 Manzu. Keep this double-sided weight right here, and then keep the Dora over here. Or I could drop this, lock in Sanshoku with 1 Dora. Let's see how they compare. So this shape has technically 4 tiles left. This shape technically has 4 tiles left. This shape technically has 5 tiles left. Considering that, I guess maybe actually dropping the 2-3 mon isn't that bad idea. And if I do get to Tenpai, that's like Dama 5,200 points or 8,000 points with Riichi. Plus, if the 7-pin or the 7-mon comes out, I can call it for a quick 2,000 point Tenpai as well. So I think probably dropping the 2-mon, 3-mon here is a lot more flexible. Especially since even if I do drop this, my remaining shape is pretty bad and I can't open it. But if I drop these, I can at least open the hand. So yeah, I'm liking 2-3-mon there, actually. If, on the other hand, let's say like this was, I don't know, or like this shape right here was like a 7-8, probably drop the penchant right here. But definitely I think with the Dora and Sanshoku potential for opening up this hand, I think the 2-3-mon right here is pretty good. Alright, 16th turn. Yeah, this one. So I technically got Tenpai. Right now the 7 Mon was pawned, and so there's only one more of these left. And so, for all intensive purposes, it's probably, you know, just going to be like Karaten. But if the last 7 does come out, so I can get that at least. The problem is, should I be dropping the 7 so? Normally in this situation I would say no, but because there's a con on the field, and this person didn't declare Ricci at least, the con of the 5s actually diminishes a lot of what the 7 can be used for. Specifically the 5-6 Ryanmen for it, which was really, really dangerous. But now that that's out, not that bad. The only way that this person can be waiting on it is either with like an 8, 6-0. They could be waiting with a pair or like a single tile. But how many Dora can we see? Red Dora, we can see 2 right here. Regular Dora, 9-pin, one's out right here, but they're probably going for Tenhou, so they don't have any of that. But the new Dora, the 3 Mon, we can only see 1, 2. So actually, that's not that bad right here. So even if they have a Dora, it's probably only 1. And they're probably Tenpai because they overflowed on this tune right here. So if not, then maybe they drew a tile that was a little bit too dangerous to drop, but we can most probably assume that they're Tenpai. DDR Dan, I was wondering why they held the 9 so. Oh, right here? They probably have some connected tiles to it. But I guess the big question right here is, what is their Yaku, even if they do have this? They could technically have... Yeah. They could technically have, like, Itsu or Chanta, but looking at the discards, I mean, technically, maybe. I mean, maybe. But in most of those hand shapes, especially for, like, Itsu, you're not going to be calling Con right here because it'll have some better interaction in the middle. Unless they have some very specific hand shape. If they were holding on to this and they were going for something like, I don't know, Yakuhai, like all the Yakuhai are dead. Yeah, like all the Yakuhai are dead. So my only guess was like they conned, were attempting to get to Tenpai, potentially couldn't get to Tenpai or drew a bad tile. I don't think they're actually in Tenpai yet. And I think if they were in Tenpai, especially with the dealer being open, the Dora being pretty much accounted for, I'm pretty sure that they would reach, especially with the con on the field. So I don't think that they're in Tenpai. Yeah. For the 8, and for the 9, yeah, they probably do have connected tiles to that. But I guess the biggest threat right here that I saw was the dealer. This person is also a mystery. They're pushing pretty dangerous tiles right here. I guess not that dangerous. The 9 came out. There's a 5 right here, so the 6 can pass pretty easily. So yeah, I guess Tune right here looks semi... 7 so right here looks semi-okay. Even though I can't see any at this point, it doesn't look really, really bad. And the Allure of Tenpai is pretty nice, especially if the only thing I'm worrying about from here is like a 2,900 hand at most. And so yeah, so they had connected tiles, 8, 9 right there, and Chi dropped the 4. So that's screaming like just caught a 10 to me. Next, I had a 4. Also as well, I probably shouldn't drop this normally, but because there's a con of the 5s out and a 1 just dropped right here, that just discounted the weight 1 for Sozu for like Tenhou or something, and so, or even just in general. So this right here is not that bad. The only way that they can win off it is if they're waiting on a pair or a single tile, which isn't completely unreasonable, considering it's this late in the game and it's still Shonpai. But because they dropped the Formon, we can probably assume pretty safely that this is Kata 10 right here. This person's a bit of a mystery, but unless they have a Shabo of this, they can't wait on that. And even if they do, how many points could their hand be? They could potentially have up to like what? 1, 2, 3 Dora? I mean, if they have the 9 pin in their hand, they can only wait on this with like a Pinfu or something. There's no Haku out, or I mean, there's no Yakuhai out, so even if they do win with this, it's probably Tanyao, and the only Tanyao ones they have left are the 2-3 Mon, so max 5,200 points. This person's probably Tenpai, and this person's probably Tenpai. And like we talked about before, this hand isn't probably that great, so if we do go to Yukoku and all 3 are in Tenpai, we're going to be losing 4,000 points right there. Plus, technically our weight is pretty bad, but it's still alive, and so we have value in keeping the hand for both Tenpai reasons and also potential win reasons. So I think because the 1 came out right here, dropping the 4 is pretty okay. And then they dealt in right... Actually, did they deal in? I thought they dealt in. Yeah, they dealt in right there. So, going back over here real quick. Let's check this out. So I assumed with the Chun drop they're probably in Tenpai, but no, they actually got to complete 1 Shanten. And then this person was, yeah, going for, looks like a Kataten right here. Toyman's the interesting one. Dama. Oh, I'm sorry, there was 3 tiles for Tanyao potential. With the red 5 as well, and then the 2 3s that are out. And they're weighing on Dama with the potential door chance. Oh, that's nice. Pinfu. But yeah. I still think the 7 and the 4 right there were pretty okay, mainly because of what I could see on the board and then this 1 that came out for the 4. If the 1 didn't come out, the 4 would be a very hard push, I think. Or maybe not. I guess the only like wild card here is Toyman. Because like we said, like, you know, they drop the 3, even if they have 3 in their hand, it's probably only going to be 1 in a run. And so, dealer isn't the problem here. This person isn't the problem either. Alright. Next up. So, 3, 5th turn, and 6th turn. So, this was kind of interesting. At this point, should I go for, you know, keep my Chi-Toitsu potential with all 3 tiles, or move over to potentially Tanyao? Considering that I had 2 Dora and I'm also dealer, I was thinking Tanyao is probably a better choice right here, especially with the shapes I can see. So I chose 8 over just throwing out this 8 Mon. If you have a reasonable route to avoid Chi-Toitsu, generally it's not a bad idea. Then I got this right here, and so I can either take max potential, which is dropping like the 4-so, or I can go max Tanyao, which is dropping the 5 pin. Considering it's this early and the 2 Mon and the 2-so are still alive, I think the 4-so is not that bad right here. Plus, if I do get into Tenpai for that, that's at least Toi Toi, Tanyao, Dora Dora. With the Tsumo, it goes up to Hanimon, and can even go up to Suanko potential if I do get the draw. Oh, DDR Dan, you were thinking about the 2 Mon call earlier. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, but my biggest problem with that right there was I don't want to call with this, I don't think. At least on the 2 Mon. The 5 Mon is, I think, a lot better reason to call. If I call in the 2 Mon and the 8 Mon and the 2-so are kind of like the easy ways to get with this hand. The problem is the 5 Mons and the 5 pins. I could end up with just like, you know, 4-7 pin, which isn't that bad. But if I call this right now, those might end up being my like neck later on. Whereas if I stay Dama with this currently, I'm still 1 Shanten technically from, you know, Chi-Toitsu, Dora Dora, potentially Tanyao, Dama Mangan. Or like reach even higher, but I probably wouldn't reach if I already have a 9,600 point hand or 12,000 point hand. Yeah, I think if that was like the 5 Mon, or even, maybe not the 5 pin, but the 5 Mon definitely, I think that is pretty good reason to call. But the 2-5, or the 2-8 Mon, because they're a lot easier to get, if I do call those first, then there's a good chance I'm going to be stuck with the 5 Mons and the 5 pins later on. So I think keeping this one Shanten right now is technically okay. Yeah. If my entire hand was like, you know, 2 through 8s and maybe like 3 through 7, the Toy Toy option isn't that bad, I think, but yeah. I still like the potential from the one Shanten from Chitoitsu right here, especially with two Dora as dealer. Yeah. Alright. Then I had a question on the 6th turn, so after I drop this, what do I do here? Yeah, and I was thinking Forso looks pretty good. And then I ended up getting Tenpai right here, waiting on the 2 and 2 so. And I was thinking, well, should I reach this or should I stay Dama? If I stay Dama, it's already a 7,700 point hand. If I Richi and Sumo, if I Sumo, regardless of whether I Richi, it's going to be a 18,000 point hand. So should I call Richi here? Toyman was like, you know, going for something right there, and I was thinking, well, they dropped the 2-mon already, so if someone's defending against them, they might drop the 2-mon. But now that I look at it, I don't think that's actually that good of an idea, because there's no reason to defend against them. They dropped the Dora, they opened up with Hatsu, and they called this right here. So chances are their hand is like 1,000 points, or maybe like, you know, well, knowing what I know, it's probably like 1,000 or 2,000 points. That being said, the other players might also not recognize that as a huge threat. Even though it's open with like 2 or even potentially 3 calls, even though they might be in Tenpai, if it's like, you know, 1,000 point hand and they have a chance to get like Mongon or Richi or something, they're probably still going to fight. So Richi might not actually be that bad. Toyman is actually, and also if I am wanting to like, you know, to move this hand, if Toyman is going for a quick hand, and they're able to keep pushing their hand without folding it, then they might win before I do, if their weight is a little bit better than mine. Because I'm technically waiting on 3 tiles, but yeah. So maybe I actually should have pushed this one to give myself, if only a little bit greater chance of drawing it, forcing the Toymen to figure out what to do with that, because with their open hand they can't fight a dealer reach without pushing dangerous tiles. Unless they just draw safe tiles, of course. But EV-wise, they can't push a dealer reach. So maybe Richi isn't actually that bad right here. That's interesting. Let's see. Alright. Next question. South, 4-0, 6th turn. Sixth turn? You dropped the 2-mon. Okay, this one. So we got a 1 so that was discarded over here, so the 2-3 isn't that great. But we could technically even move over now. We're probably not going to be moving over to Honitsu right here. Chun is dead, so it's basically locked in as our pair. I think taking the 1-4 Sozu Ryanman right here with the 2-3 isn't that bad. Even though 2-so is technically Furiten. I still think we should take it. Even if we get to Tenpai, I think we should probably actually take Furiten Reach. The Dora is dead, from what we can see. We have one of the red door right here, so even footy 10 double-sided reach is pretty good right here. And we go into instant one shanten, so I think, well, we're already one shanten, but I think dropping the 6 for that case is still pretty good. I'm a fan of footy 10. Yeah, I kind of like dropping 6 pin here. Though it doesn't look that bad on the board. Considering we see like a 6 pin over there, a 4-7 right there, and a 5 right there. The tiles around it are probably not that well kept, so... Well, yeah. What's up, API Dev and Rogue Lizon? If I butcher your names, I am sorry. I kind of like 6 pin there. Furry 10 questions always puzzle me as well. Well, someone followed me. Who dat? API Dev, thanks for the follow. Ooh, New York City, that sounds fun. Are you going to the North American Open? If so, I'll be there as well. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I kind of like 6 pin here. But maybe 2-so is a little bit better, considering that there are two 1-sos out anyway right now. Plus, the Sozu right now are really like nowhere to be seen aside from this 2-1 right there. So maybe actually 2-so. Oh, you are going. Nice. I'll be seeing you there then. Yeah, maybe 2-so. Hands like this I'm always very uncertain about. So let's actually see. What was the state of like the Sozu versus the Pinzu right here with this board state? So yeah, Sozu was really bad. Pinzu actually wasn't that bad. So if we look at like the number of 5s and 7s around here, for instance, we can see 2 out on the board, and then even in people's hands there was like 2 and 2. So 4 tiles around that. Meanwhile, around like the 2 and the 3, 2-sos or 1-sozus are both in the wall. 4-sozus had actually still 3 remaining. Wow. 6s were pretty gone. 8s were almost gone. So yeah, maybe the Pinzu right here isn't that bad. Wakanai. Do we play Red Dora? No, we play no Red Dora in the Pacific Mahjong League. Let's see. Still leave yourself open for the potential of Chanta. Ooh. Oh, that is true. Because if we do get the 1-so and then we like reach with the 5, Chanta is there as well. Ooh. That's a good point. I missed that. Yeah, maybe the 6 pin isn't that bad then. I don't know. Alright. Next question. South 1-0. First turn, third turn, and ninth turn. So this was right here. Should I have pawned this Shah? I'm gonna say no. So the hand shapes right now aren't super bad. If I do pawn, it's 2 Shanten. And I technically also have a pair and like a safe tile that I can fall back on as I build my last block, but I don't know. This early on, I don't like calling with this that fast. Especially considering I have like a triplet of the 4-mons. So like if I do actually have to open up this hand and later on defend some Ricci, I think having triplets is actually a little bit worse in this case when they're like the 4-mon than having like runs. Just for the number of like safe tiles that could potentially come out for whatever Ricci there is. Yeah. Japan's Akadora is very, very different play than the WRC. I guess the main point is just like, you know, in Red Dora Mahjong, the average hands are going to be a lot faster because you can get up to a hand that you're actually willing to take a lot faster. So you want to avoid, let's say, you know, like bad weight, no value Ricci. But in Red Dora Mahjong, you know, you might get a Red Dora, so that makes it a little bit less likely to encounter that. And because that's the case, fast hands also in Red Dora Mahjong are a little bit more prevalent because they're really good for shutting down some pretty big threats. While in WRC Mahjong, it's more chasing Yaku. And then, of course, if you run into Dora, then I guess you can take that. But building out your hands is a little bit more prevalent in WRC than it is in Red Dora Mahjong, where the biggest thing in Red Dora Mahjong is EV calculations. Alright. Yeah, I don't feel good about taking that for some reason. I think mainly because I have this triplet of 4s right there. It's the first one, first turn as well, even though I do have a pair to fall back on. If I do end up folding this hand, and I don't know what anyone else's like hands look like, because I pawn right now, I don't know if like what this guy's gonna be discarding or what this person's gonna be discarding. They might start off with like, you know, a 6 Ozu, and it's like, oh my god, what are they going for? Or, you know, just like middle tiles and Ricci on the 4th turn. So calling this right now, I think, is probably not that great of an idea. Then 3rd turn. Oh, I messed up right here too. I think. I'm pretty sure I probably should have thrown the 2 here over... Well, actually, no, still probably the Chun. Q, so this is the turn I messed up. So I probably should have thrown the 2-mon over the 8-mon here. Or maybe not. It's because... Well, no, I think so. Even though this kind of forms a wall, if I do get like a 1 or something right here, because I already have several shapes with pairs, like this shape by itself is not that beneficial to me. So getting rid of the 2-mon, I think, is the standard play there. Yep. Then 9th turn. Ugh, yeah, this one. I don't know what to do right here. So I got 1, technically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. 6 blocks and over. Dora is the 6, and I have 1 red Dora right here, so I'm probably not wanting to drop this out. But I have too many blocks right now, so what do I discard? The 9-pin's not bad, and I think that's what I discard in game. Mainly because if someone does declare Ricci pretty soon, I can still avoid a round and potentially even get to Tempai to fight them by throwing the West, which is pretty safe considering that there's only 1 out there right now. Not to mention, if I look at like the board, this person right here, I have 2 safe tiles for. This person over here, I have like the West technically in the 9-pin. And this person over here, I got anything? No 100% safe tiles, but I at least have the West. So I don't think I want to throw the west right here. Yeah. And if I do jump around, the 9 pin is probably the least useful tile right here. Small chance of Tenhou too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like if we get like the 4-so draw, we could even technically switch over to like get the door right here, and so 9 pin doesn't look that bad. And plus it keeps our chances of staying alive with the Shah. So yeah, I don't think that's that bad. Okay, next up, south 2-1, second turn, 9th turn, 10th turn. Oh, this one is interesting. So I was wondering, it's like, should I just go ahead and throw the 1-so right here, confirm this 2-4-4 shape right here? But I don't think so, especially since I have a triplet right here, so, and also a couple bad shapes, so my pair is pretty flexible still, and I could still draw a 3-so. So I think probably breaking up this shape is pretty solid, starting with, I guess, the 9. There's not much difference between drawing an 8 pair and drawing a 9 pair right here. Because if I get my pair right here, I'm going to be keeping the 1-so around anyway. So maybe the 8-so actually. But if I draw a 6-so, does that do anything for me? Not really, because this is already like a thing in and of itself, and it synergizes with the 2-so Dora. If I do keep this as my looking for my pair shape with the 2-3 weight. So I guess 8-so first. I think I probably dropped 9-so in the game. I could, well, I don't know. Can I move over Tenhou? I can technically somehow move over Tenhou, but it looks kind of hard. Because if I have this as my pair, then the only way I can use the Dora is going to be with a 3-mon, or a 3-so. And then the only way I can use the 1, 2, 3 and have that be Tenhou is if I draw the last 4. Or if I draw another 8, and then get a triplet of the 8 and use this as my pair. But if I do that, I'll probably just take Sanonko, so... Technically, 8's not that much better than 9 there. Alright, 9th turn and 10th turn. 9th turn? Or did I mean like this turn right here? Oh, and then there's also this. So I was wondering, should I call this? And I think the answer is still no. Probably no. Because then I would still have like a bad shape right here. This is still pretty good considering what I can see on the board, and especially since I have 4 of the 5s. And so I think filling in these shapes first takes priority. Now once I have the 6, then I can now lock in my double-sided shape right here, keep the 2-3 shape right here for my pair, and then start off with the 4-2. And then right here I should technically drop 9-so first, because if I do draw a 2-pin, I would just instantly reach. But I think I dropped 2-pin in the game. Yeah. Similarly with the 3, the 3 isn't super dangerous, especially since I can see like all of the 5s and a lot of the 4s. It is technically a Shonpai, but I think the benefits of keeping it for a potential pair at this point is still not unreasonable. And even if I do get Tenpai, I'm most definitely willing to throw the Dora for a double-sided weight with Richi, Tenhou, Dora. Yeah, I think keeping the 9-so like this was kind of a bad idea. Not to mention, the 9-so isn't like a safe tile. Like, to this person, if they reach, it's not safe. To this person, it's technically not safe. To this person, it's not safe, so there's no reason to keep this round over like the 2 and the 3. Is Shonpai. Yeah, the 9 is Shonpai at this point, but it's still like, I don't know, hard to use. Especially with like all the 4s gone and like usually if you have like a 3/3 in your hand, you would take a 2/5 weight over a 3-mon shabo. And for a majority of cases, that's going to be true. And so in that case, like, it's not that bad since I have this. Plus, like, the 9 is not any safer to a reach. In fact, I would say the 3-mon is actually probably safer to a 9-so, because if either of these two reach, they could still be weighing on a double-sided weight for the 9-so, but they can't with the 3, because I have all the 5s. So yeah, there's like no reason to be holding on to this 9-so for like that long. All the mistakes. Alright. Next up, South, 2-2, 6-turn, and 7-turn. This one is interesting. So I got a pair of the Dora, and I got 1, 2, technically 3, 4, 5, 6 shapes right now. What do I do here? So ideally I need to break up one of my shapes, and what can I possibly break up? So I can either break up the 1 3-pin, or I can break up, let's say, starting with the 9-so, and that would technically keep like the 4 6 and the 6 8 alive as well. If I keep the 3-pin around, I can technically take in a 4, which isn't that bad, especially if like I drop the 1, I take in a 4. What would I do then? I could technically drop the 5-pin at that point and take instant like 1 shanten. Or I could drop the 4-so at that point, keep the 5 around, and if I build on the 5, then I can, you know, switch that over for the 8 9-so. Or if I get to Tenpai before that, I can instantly reach with Riichi Dora, but that seems like a waste. If I drop the 9 first and then draw like a 4, I'm kind of sad as well. So I guess 1-pin actually is better here. Because at least it still leaves open up that chance to potentially turn this into a run and then treat this as our pair. 4-so seems wrong if you want 4-pin, possibly Sanshoku. Yeah. Well, if I drop a 1-pin and I draw a 4-pin right here, then I'd probably still drop 4-so, mainly because I don't want to ignore 1 shanten. And if I had to choose between a floating 5-pin Dora and a floating 4-so, like, this only gets me Sanshoku in, like, one very specific way. I need to draw a 2 over here, and I need to draw perfectly over here, getting exactly a 5 and a 3. So, Sanshoku chance that far off versus Dora, like, Dora wins every time. But yeah, so yeah, I probably think 1-pin actually has a lot more benefit over 9-so right there. Not to mention, if we do draw another 5-pin, then we can treat this as our pair. So yeah, I don't like that actually. Alright, that's an interesting shape. Next up is 7th turn. Now this one was interesting. So at this point, I got a 2, 4, 6 shape and the 6, 8 shape. So I can probably go ahead and drop the 1 3-pin. Should I drop 1-pin or 3-pin first? I can technically drop 1-pin if I'm okay with 4-pin. Because that would instantly give me 1 shanten with Tanyao Dora, potentially Pinfu. But if I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be dropping this 5-pin, then I can drop the 3-pin right now, though maybe that's not that good of an idea. Yeah, I think I should probably drop the 1-pin here, because like, even if I get the 4-pin, it's like, okay, cool, I'm 1 shanten. So now, at that point, I can drop the 8-so, and I'm still keeping this 5-pin around, and only if I get like a Tenpai, then I'm like, well, I guess I'll take it. And if I draw something around the 5-pin, I can even break up the 2 4-so-zu, switch that over to that, and keep it. So dropping the 3-pin here, I think, is kind of a bad idea. Yeah. Got to be careful with Sakigiri, because a lot of that is a lot more harmful than it is good, especially if it's done wrong like this. Alright, next up, South 2-3, 5th turn, 8th turn, and 9th turn. Ooh, this one's kind of interesting. So I think South is okay here. I didn't want to get stuck in a situation where I'm out of safe tiles and just get exploded by someone. But considering, well, actually, I don't know. So I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So still 3 Shanten right now on the 5th turn, but I have a lot of tiles. The 3 is really good because if I get a 4, even without a pair, I can like get a 3, 6, 9 weight for a pair technically. So that's pretty nice. The Nakabukure right here is pretty good because I can take in the Dora, red Dora, all the good stuff. The 2 and the 8 isn't that great, and actually you might argue that keeping that around is not as good as keeping the potential safe 9 around, or South around, especially since I'm at 3 Shanten still, but considering that it's still early round and no one looks like super dangerous yet, I don't think it's that bad. Yeah, I don't think it's super bad. Maybe 2-pin though, because like for the 2-pin, we're only kind of really happy if we get the 3-pin, because we're not that happy with the 1-pin. We probably break it up anyway. 4-pin we can already use with the 5, 6, 6, 7 shape. The 4, 8 is really good together because if I get a 6, then I get a Ryoncon with the 4, 6, 8 shape. So actually 2-pin doesn't seem like that bad, but I don't know, this early on, like, should I be like slimming down that much? I don't like the 3-so because I'm still missing my pair in this hand. So the 3-so is actually really important in this shape because if I do get a 4, then that is a shape right here, which if I technically wait on this as my pair, it will be a 3, 6, what's it called? A 3, 6, 9 weight. Or if I actually get like a 2, and then keep this 6 around, then it's like a double 3-sided pair weight, where I can either go for the 2, 5, 8 shape, or I can go for the 3, 6, 9. So like the floating 3-so right here is actually really good with this shape. In comparison, the 2 is a lot less lackluster. So I think if I did want to keep this, the 2 would be the, answer, but I don't know if I should be dropping down, slimming down at this point in the game, since it's only like the 5th turn, and that I can't see any like significant threat from anyone except maybe this person, but even if they are the one that reaches, I have like the 7-so to throw to them, so I actually don't think it's that bad to throw the South here. Then 8th turn. Oh yeah, so this is the shape. So this right here is like, if I end up like on Tenpai, like finish this up and I still don't have my pair, this is 3, 6, 9. Or I think later on I also had it where I drew like the 2. Where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. No. This this shape by itself. Or wait, it was with the 8. That's it. With the other 8 right here. Now I can also drop the 6-so and be waiting on the 2, 5, 8 shape. So like this is like a stupidly flexible shape. Plus it can technically become a 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. But that's kind of whatever. The 3-sided shapes in it are a lot more alluring. Okay, so 8th turn and 9th turn. Was this the one I was talking about? So should I slim down right here? So now it's a little bit different than earlier. We're into the middle round. Someone is open. We can't see any of the 8-pin Dora right now, and we can't see any of the red Dora. So slimming down when you get into the middle rounds, the middle 6 tiles, is pretty common. At this point, it's like, well, I have to be a little bit more realistic of, hey, someone might win before me. And so you don't want to stick your head out too far. At least you do when someone reaches and you have nothing to deal with them with. Looking on the board, I have a couple safe tiles for this person. I got 1 safe tile for this person. Then I got technically nothing for the dealer. That's kind of scary. Especially if they opened with a 5-6 call right here. That's pretty scary. Like, normally you only call Ryeonmin if, like, you got a really, really good hand and, like, all your shapes are ready, or... Yeah, or if you're, like, in Tempai. So, either way, that's a bit disheartening, so... Slimming down at this point might be pretty good. We already got some pretty good shapes. Like, if we can complete this, then we can get 1, 2, then 3, 4 with a pair over here. And so we already got good shapes to go with. Like, we're not lacking anything in final shapes. So dropping the 8 here, I think, is not that bad. 5 came out as well, so with 9 over here, this isn't that bad. Even the 4, I don't think is going to be super bad, because if they did open for Tenhou, they dropped this from a 5-5-6 shape and they called the 7, so chances are probably not waiting on the 4 unless they had like 3 5s and they for some reason called. Yeah, so probably not. So right here I think probably dropping the 8 and slimming down a little is okay. Then we got this shape right here. Now it's like, well, we can get a 3-6-9, or we can get a 2-5-8, and this also takes instant Tempai on the 7. So because we're now instant 1 Shanten with some potential good stuff, should we actually, you know, close our hand off? And I think the answer is we should probably drop the East right here. They also dropped a 1, and they dropped this 5 from the 5-5-6 shape, so 4 is probably okay for the dealer. And then for the other 2, we have some safe tiles to deal with, even if they reach, like 2 for this person, 2 for this person. So I think dropping East right here and keeping the 4 around is probably an okay idea. Because if we do get the 4, we instantly get Tempai on the 7 right there for Ipeiko Tenhou, which isn't that bad. There's only 2 tiles left, but... plus, we could still technically build around the 4 if we get something. Like a red 5 or something, so... maybe not that bad. But we can already see 2 5s right here, so... Nah. Either way, I think probably keeping the 4 right here is okay. I think it has a little bit more benefit than keeping the East. In the actual game, though, what did I do? Through the 4. Yeah, I think being greedy right there is a little bit better. Because worst comes to worst, we still have ways we can run away. Plus, in this case right here, we can only take instant Tempai on like the 7, and even if we do get it on the 7, we only have the 6. The East is dead, so we can't wait on that. So, I think keeping the 4 is better there. Alright. Next up, South 2-4. These are my last notes that I have for this game. 5th turn and 9-pin push. Oh, alright, so we got Semensu over right here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. So what do we do? Do we keep all 6 of our blocks, or do we shorten it down? Considering the proximity between me and last place, ideally I want to win something. So probably breaking up the 1, 2 so right here is a bit better. We do have like bad shapes all around with the 6 right here and the 4 right here, and so if we do get the chance to call them with an open hand, that might not actually be that bad. So I think probably keep dropping down to 5 blocks right here, especially since this is like, you know, edge weight, compared to dropping like the 6-0 and like keeping 3 bad shapes and hoping we fill in one of them, but to only be left with 2 more. Well, I guess 1 more because we'll drop 1 after that. So yeah, 1-2 looks pretty good here. All the mistakes. Okay, and then 9th turn push, which was 2 Richis right here. I'm technically 1 Shanten. Do I want to maintain my 1 Shanten for a little risk? So at this point, it's like, I can see 3 of the 8 pins. 9 pin is safe 100% for this person. The only person that could technically be waiting on it is Toyman, but they discard it really early on, and so unless they discard it from right here from a 7-8-8 shape, they can't be waiting on that, which is kind of usually unlikely, especially considering what they dropped afterwards. Yeah. So should I have kept this 9 pin to keep my 1 Shanten alive? And then if I do happen to get to Tenpai, I can either then at that point choose to, for instance, reach after them. For instance, if I draw like a 6-mon maybe. Stay Dama. I'd probably fight if I actually got a 6-mon. And then I can always drop the Haku. And if I draw, let's say, a pair of something, that's going to be a little bit harder. Well, actually, no. If I draw, let's say, like a pair of the 6s, then I can drop the 9s, or the 5s right here because it's safe for both of them. 6s aren't safe for both yet, so I don't want to drop that. 5, 7 look absolutely horrible. And then if I do go to Ryukoku, then it won't be the end of the world, but yeah. A little bit of risk for this 1 Shanten. Should I take that or not? Usually I wouldn't think it's that bad, especially with the early 8 pin right here, and most importantly, after that you had a lot of stuff that came out that looked very questionable. For instance, the 9 came out after the 8, which probably means connected tiles to that. 5, 7, then reach on the 3, so they probably had some pretty interesting shapes within there. So the early 7, locking in the early Ryanman like that is, I guess, not that common. At least in the current meta of Mahjong. I guess it's an okay push. I'm always uncertain about these, of like, where do you draw the line of like do and don't. So normally in this case, we would think that the 8 pin came out because either A, it was from a complete set already, or B, which is the most probable case, it was a lone tile. So, ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's really interesting. Why would they do that? Why would they drop that shape? That is beautiful. I guess because they already had too many blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But why would you keep this 9, 8 right there? Especially since, like, the rest of your hand looks pretty nice. Or even, like, the 2, the 1, 2. Yeah, in this case right here, I would most probably drop one of the penchants for this shape, because if you keep around the penchants, no matter what, unless you fill them in first, you're going to be stuck with a bad weight. Whereas with this shape right here, you can draw a 9, a 7, a 6, or a 4, and instantly get like a great shape. So in comparison, not that great. Plus, if you drop the 8, 9 right here, or even starting with the 9, so just in case you draw the Dora, you also give yourself the chance at Itsu as well. That's interesting. But yeah. And I think that's all the notes I have for this game. The 2 misclicks in this game really screwed me over. Like, oh my god. I should not play when my motor skills are impaired. Also known as at nighttime. How do I feel about the 5-so in their hands? You mean like at this point? Or where was it? So they got 1 block, 2 block, 3 blocks, technically 4 blocks, 5 blocks, and then this 5. Personally, I think over the, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Personally, I think over the 5 so, like this has a lot more like building potential than either of these do. I do not see the reason that you would want to hold on to 2 pensions or 2 pensions here. Like this one at least has some potential for Itsu, but like in this case right here, if you keep the 9 around, you can't use the door anyway. So like there's no reason to keep this around, I think. Plus, if you're comparing like the chances of, you know, actually completing these, a 4 Renke right here, and even just like this shape right here, or if you get like a 4 or a 6, like instant like gratification. Yeah, I really don't like keeping this 9-8. The 5 isn't bad, but I still think the penchant is a lot better. You do lose, you do go back in 1 shanten right now, but I think you get like, or actually no you don't, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so you don't even lose the shanten for that. You're just losing one of your like 6 blocks, which is like no problem. So I think the 5 so has a little bit more benefit than keeping both penchants, especially since you have a 4 Renke here. Of course, I do think that if you had to drop something, like if you're debating whether to drop this 8 or the 5, you should probably drop the 5. The 8 right here, I really don't like. I guess because they were like, oh, I really don't want to get rid of this 5 right here. Except that doesn't make any sense, because even if you do get something on the shape to get rid of one of these, you're still going to be keeping the 5 around, so... yeah. 7 dons aren't perfect. I should know. I played a really shitty game. Alright. And yeah, that's all the end of the notes I got. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to go to sleep and wake up in 7 hours to go to work. Have a nice night.